Full time at the Emirates Stadium, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0. You know, in recent weeks since Arsenal, I guess, effectively dropped out of this Premier League title race, there's been a lot of talk of, do they need to be looking behind them? Do they need to be worried about Champions League places? I think this result will have put a lot of those fears to bed. An important one, certainly in the context of the Premier League table. And while there are still tough games to go in the Premier League, maybe potentially indicated that Arsenal can afford to focus on what is really left to play for in this season, that Champions League tie against Real Madrid, which looms so large, I think, in all of our consciousness at this point in time. Interesting atmosphere for this one. I mean, there is definitely something missing, a little bit of edge missing, I think, among the crowd for these Premier League games, understandably so. But I think as well people are enjoying it. I know it might sound... I know some people won't like that, but I think after the pressure, the intensity of those two title races, I think there's almost a bit of relief among people playing with a little bit less pressure. And it feels more like a day out than sort of this big adrenaline thrill ride. There's good and bad in that. What to say about the starting 11? Gabriel Martinelli came back in. Was pleased to see that. Ethan Ranieri dropped out. I think, to be honest, that's a good thing. You know, Ethan Ranieri's played a lot more football than anyone intended. You know, Miles Lewis-Skelly is probably Mikel Arteta's preferred left-back. I think he'll pick him for the Real Madrid game. I think if he was picking for the Champions League final tomorrow, he picks Miles Lewis-Skelly. I think Ethan Ranieri, and the reason I bring that up is just to say that even though that's the case, there have been many games where Miles has rotated out and Calafiori's got to go. I think Ethan Ranieri's had to play game after game after game after game, and at 17, 18 years old, that's just not ideal. So I think it made sense to leave him out today, and put Gabriel Martinelli in instead. I thought Martinelli looked sharp. He's really improved in that right-sided role, I think. You know, given how alien it looked to him when he first went in there, I think he's really... His movement's good, his combination play's good. I think he'll start there against Madrid. I do think he'll start there against Madrid if Bukayo Saka isn't ready, as we expect. Saka back in full training, he's doing work with the ball now. Mikel Arteta says, is he going to be fit to start against Madrid? I think it's going to be really tight. What else to say? Other than that, it was more of the same. Mikel Merino up front scores the winning goal, albeit from a dead ball. Fantastic header, really excellent. I mean, to get his head down and stoop and flick that behind him, brilliantly executed. Will Arteta start with Merino against Madrid? I don't know. I mean, there were moments today where I think you could see where Merino can't replicate the centre forward. It's those moments where you want someone to run in behind, you know, who's got the pace genuinely to sort of threaten a centre half with a run into the channel. He doesn't have that. But there's a lot of other good things in this game, and his penalty box threat is clear, and he made that obvious with the goal. In terms of the game, well, I thought first half of the first half we were very good. First half of the second half we were pretty good. My instinct was that in both halves, the game sort of... Chelsea began to knock it around in the second half of the half, but didn't threaten a great deal. I mean, I was just stood behind David Raya for that whole second half, and he barely had anything to do. Even though the scoreline was narrow, I think Arsenal were relatively in control of this one, even for those spells where Chelsea had possession. I'm not sure, without Cole Palmer, which was obviously a massive loss for them today, I'm not sure they quite had enough to really threaten the goal. Yeah, look, you can tell my head's a little bit on that Madrid tie. And I think that's probably true for 6,000 people in the stadium today, or 57,000 home fans. But an important win against a side who, you know, continue to add talent. They've signed a couple of players in the last week. If they can get it right, they've got a truly awesome collection of young talent in that squad. You'd have to think in the next 5 years someone will get it right there, and they'll be a very serious team. But I think Kenda, who they're getting from Lisbon in 2026, is a huge prospect. So yeah, a bit disappointed to see him turn up at Chelsea, but there you go. I'm going to leave it there for now, guys. Thanks, mate. I'm going to leave it there for now and enjoy the international break. Have some rest, some respite from the football, and yeah, get your singing voices tuned up for Madrid at home. What a night that's going to be at the Emirates Stadium. What a night. Speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.